At the current writing of this video, the Switch 2 has been out for just a little bit over a week, and I'd like to share my opinions on the Switch 2 thus far. First off, I'd like to thank you for clicking on the video. I'm Losto64, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Comment if you want to. Let's just get going. First off, before we get into a lot of the details about my personal opinions on the Switch 2, I feel like I should give a little bit of background on the lead up to the Switch 2. Ever since the Switch 2 came out in 2017, there have been non-stop rumors about revisions and new consoles involving the Switch. First, it was the Switch, where I remember hearing loads and loads of rumors about them, okay? Like, I remember just reading news articles and just seeing, like, pop-ups about all this about the Switch 2. I think the peak of them was around 2020-ish, when there were just loads of crazy rumors talking about just, like, Nintendo in general, and just the Switch Pro in general. These rumors kind of died off, seemingly, after the release of the Switch OLED, but they really didn't die. They just reformed into rumors about Nintendo's next system, the Switch 2. All throughout 2022 and 2023, we heard little rumors about the next console and how it was going to be holiday 2023, then early 2024, and the rumors kind of began to stop for a little bit. They kind of slowed down. It was pretty clear to most people that a new system, a new generation Nintendo would be coming out very, very soon. And then in late 2024, early 2025, it happened. Credible leak after leak. 3D models, third-party cases, specs, the whole wazoo. And then finally, on January 16th, 2025, it happened. It was glorious. Everything we would wanted, plus a new Mario Kart, what? Seemed unbelievable. And at the end of the announcement, we got Switch 2 Direct announced for April 2nd, 2025. The wait felt like forever, but then it happened. April 2nd, 2025. The Direct felt unreal. An open-world Mario Kart, new 3D Donkey Kong, From Software exclusive new game, new Kirby Air Ride by Sakurai himself, mouse mode, just better online in general, GameCube, so many third parties, heck, I haven't even mentioned everything. There were some things that people kind of had their eyebrows be a little bit raised by the Direct. I mean, first off, Breath of the Wild 2 is the key game having paid upgrades that add little to nothing to the overall game. I mean, they literally just, add mobile function and they run a little bit better. And Switch 2 Welcome Tour is a paid game. Speaking of paying, how much does this console and the games even cost? Oh. So yeah, after that, all hell broke loose. Due to the lack of information on prices and just some features just not really being mentioned that much, so Nintendo just kind of poorly explaining some aspects and just not really talking about other things that they probably should have. This led to loads of rumors and misinformation coming. First off was that every game was going to be $80. Then that they would all cost extra for physical instead of digital. And then you have to get charged money for every time you wanted to upgrade a Switch 1 game to the Switch 2. They would all cost money. There was that, and it just kept going, that every game was now digital. They just kept going and going and going. They kept building and building. The rumors got so bad it was hard to find truth in any new announcement. This was followed by loads and loads of backlash, okay? Most of it was stemmed for one reason, the prices. Which, before we get this started, let's get one thing straight. I'm not the biggest fan of the prices. I think Mario Kart World shouldn't have costed $80. And that is exactly why I bought it for $50 in the Switch 2 bundle. I also think that the Switch 2 Welcome Tour should have been free, but besides that, I think most of the accessories at first were pretty fairly priced, but we'll get into the little increase in price later. The thing is that I'm in the position that I know a lot of people aren't in, where I have been saving up money for forever for Nintendo's next new console. I've just been saving up money, period. I know I obviously sympathize, understand people who can't afford a Switch 2, but also I just feel like the conversation was so incredibly toxic, it was like bringing up politics at a family dinner. Yeah. After the Switch 2, many people were beginning to predict that another Nintendo console was going to fail. All these dramatic videos and all this bad news just hit the Switch 2 tower. Due to worldwide events involving the economy, Nintendo delayed the pre-orders for the Switch 2 in the US. Soon enough, we learned that, in fact, many of the accessories would increase in price. Now, I think these prices are just got a little too dang high. Like, the Switch 2 dock for $120 and Joy-Cons for $95. Like, really? Like, I feel like the accessories were already kind of cutting it close to my limits, but I think that now that they increased them by like $5-10, I think they just got a little too dang high. I feel like Nintendo should have kind of showed some goodwill and just like have not bumped up the prices. I know that would have cost them more money, but they make enough money, man. I think they'll survive. And, wait, what's this section called again? Oh, yeah, pre-orders. The pre-orders were announced for the US in April 24th, and they, like, sold out, like, immediately. Like, all the websites crashed, the whole shebang, and I mean, like, the websites really crashed. And I even tried to pre-order the Switch 2, and I just got too annoyed, so I just went to bed. So, there's only one more way for me to get a Switch 2 if I really wanted it, and that was... And I got it. I decided to do GameStop, as after all, you could put your money down at 3 p.m. and come back later at midnight. And I could just skip the line. I put down the pre-order at 3 p.m. after arriving at a little bit after 1 and being actually 4th in line, so that's pretty good for me. I pre-ordered the Switch 2 Mario Kart Bundle, Cyberpunk 2077, Street Fighter 6 Years 1 and 2 Edition, and then the Switch 2 camera. I came back at midnight and I got it. Unfortunately, I didn't realize it at the time, but they forgot to give me a copy of Cyberpunk, so I later had to come to the store the next day and get a digital code for it. I also got the 2 Zelda Switch 2 editions and GameCube online for free with NSO expansion pack, and I also later bought the Welcome Tour for $10 because I hate myself. Now that the backstory's out of the way, I'm going to give my actual review on the Switch 2 itself, and I'll be splitting this into 3 separate sections: the console itself, the software, and then the future of the Switch 2. So let's begin. To show off the console, I've decided to use the camera, so if all my footage looks really bad, that's why. It's really just the Switch 1 but bigger. That sounds like a negative, but it's really not. The console has a nicer screen, it's got a new kickstand, and the audio is just better. It's a lot like the OLED, minus an actual OLED screen, so it might not seem like an upgrade to someone who has an OLED, but for me, it is, because I never got an OLED. And it's just got a much more comfortable with its increased size, especially when you're playing just the Joy-Cons by themselves. And also, dude, like, you gotta check this out. Like, the little apps have, like, these, like, little sound effects now. Like, listen to this. Honestly, everything I had an issue with for the Switch 1 was fixed with the Switch 2. The Joy-Cons I mentioned are bigger, there's so much more room, and about everything is perfect, except for, I just wish they added themes and they had eShop music, but at this point, I have about given up hope. It ain't coming back, man. Now, when it comes to the software itself, I've decided to not only cover the games I got, but also game chat. I have some mixed feelings on this game, and I plan to explain them in my own future video, but besides that, I like the free roam, a lot of the new tracks are cool, and I like playing as all the cool little characters. 8 out of... This is like literally the equivalent of being given homework by Nintendo, and it somehow costs $10, but besides that, I mean, it's pretty alright, like a 6 out of 10, I guess.
Street Fighter 6!
I'm not really far into this game, but, you know, I've really been playing the World Tour, and I just think it's really fun. You can beat up random people. 7 out of 10. I've, like, only played, like, 1 hour of this game, so I, like, really can't decide on it, but I'll just give it an undecided out of 10. This is, like, a 5 out of 10. There's, like, no games, okay, right? There's, like, really 3, and I don't care about any of them except for the Wind Waker, but that's kind of like one of the last games on my backlog. I have to get through like every other Zelda game in existence before that one, so like I really don't want to play Wind Waker now. But there's only 3 games. Like, they could have given us like maybe like one more, like a Mario Party or like, I don't know, Luigi's Mansion. Like, they could have given us anything besides this. Switch 2 Zelda editions. Haven't tried yet. Undecided out of 10. Game chat. Unfortunately, I have no friends who have the Switch 2, so I haven't really gotten a chance to try out voice chat, but it looks pretty cool, and I can't wait to try it out. Discord ripoff out of 10. For my overall thoughts of the future, I'm honestly pretty excited for the future of the Switch 2, but I'm also worried about some stuff. A lot of the games that were announced have no release dates, especially Nintendo titles, but even the third parties too. So I'm just worried that the Switch 2 might have some content droughts. I mean, we have like a month before Bonanza even comes out. So honestly, besides that, I'm pretty excited to see how Nintendo takes advantage of, new online capabilities that they've added, maybe giving us some new co-op games. Nintendo's always made excellent titles, so I'd love to see more co-op games from them. And in general, although I'm worried about some aspects of the future for this console, in general, if the sales are anything to go off, the Switch 2 has about the brightest future of any console ever, and I can't wait to see this future unfold for it. So much for watching. I'd like you to maybe like and subscribe if you can, and just thanks for being here. I love the fact that you've stayed here till the end, and thanks.